and I think we're all gonna compete on foils in Danish races. Here we are 4 foilers, and what we see in Denmark is that a lot of guys are switching to foiling already during this season, so it's quite exciting right now in Denmark.
Is Formula dead?
Formula is not dead at all, and people are still excited about Formula, and we try to keep it alive as well, but we combine both classes together. Yeah. And since the first race this year in Denmark, we raced together, and it's actually the first race was I was a bit nervous how was it going to be and stuff, but it ended up being really equal, and we were a bit fast on the foils, but actually in the end we were going quite the same speed, almost the same angle, a little bit higher. And the starting situations and everything went really well, no problem. So it's all good. So
I think that maybe Gunnar has something to say about it. He was competing in that as well in Nyborg.
Yeah. In Nyborg in the race, the conditions were a bit gusty, and I think it was an advantage to be able to go upwind really well to point. And we were able to do this on the foils, so but definitely foils are faster than Formula already, and we only use 7/8 as the biggest sail so far, so it's very efficient. Also for early planing, we get planing like a 12-meter Formula.
And how is it in waves, like Sylt?
In waves, it's nice because you don't hit the chops, so it's very smooth for the body. You just need to learn to go up and down with the waves, and this takes not a long time actually. So it's really simple. When you get to a wave, you lean back and you follow the wave up, and then on the top of the wave you lean forward and you go down again. So it's pretty simple. And also, this is 95 centimeter tall, the mast, and so because of this you have something to play with, some height to play with. So you don't need to just follow completely the waves, but you can kind of skip over. Come with the questions.
Any tricks for drives?
Yes, jibing in the beginning, you will start jibing like a normal windsurf board, and it feels almost like normal jibing. It feels like you just come on a train track and you follow the curve all the way around without being on the foil but just on the water. So it's pretty normal and easy. And then once you want to do the foiling jibes, or the ones where you're foiling into the jibe and then you put the board on the water, these kind of jibes you need to be able to put the weight on the feet carefully and not just push the board too much, but make small movements and be light on the feet. The best trick, I think, is to keep the backhand open and not make a lay-down jibe. The lay-down jibes on foils are possible, but it's really difficult because when you want to do the rotation with the sail, then you will become backwinded, because from this position to opening up the sail is quite a travel for the sail, and when you travel the sail like this, you get backwinded, and this influences the board. So the best thing is to open the sail in the jibe, stretch the backhand early in the jibe, and then you will get an easier rotation. And for the fully foiling jibes, it's very important to stay in the back of the board to keep the board flying. If you step forward like a normal jibe, you put the front foot forward, the board goes down immediately. It's a matter of not being afraid of standing back in the board. But basically, jibes are easy. Tacks are really easy. You can get a really nice drive going up past the wind. So tuning-wise, I guess it's more interesting also. We have a few possibilities of tuning. And first thing is the front wing. We always change the front wing, not the tail wing. We keep the tail wing on this part. And for course racing, for Formula racing, we use only the big front wing. It provides a lot more lift, and it's easier to go up with. It's more stable as well. And then when we want to go for speed, we put a smaller front wing. It gets more reactive, and it's harder to ride, but you have less drag and you get a top speed. So slalom conditions, you always use the small wing, except from super light wing. It's hard to get planing with the small wing. Then you want to have the big front wing again. The tail wing is possible to adjust. You can adjust the angle of the tail wing. And what this wing actually does, you also call it the stabilizer, because it completely stabilizes the flight. But it also creates downforce, so it means that when the angle is negative on the tail, so it kind of pushes down, and this creates lift on the front wing. So this one pushes down and makes the front go up. So the more downforce you make on the tail wing, the more lift you actually create. It's quite exciting.
Spoiler.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, you also make more drag when you change this angle. When you make more downforce, you get more drag. So you don't want to make too much. You also want the wings to be a bit aligned at the same angle. But it's a really nice tuning option. If you feel uncomfortable on the board, or if you feel like the foot straps are too far forward, you can make more downforce, so you get more lift, and then it actually evens it out, that you get this perfect balance.
Which angle do you prefer?
I change a lot. That's one thing I change a lot for the different conditions and for the purpose I want to go. So
did you change something in Glenwood waves, or change something like from this time? Or
I changed more from slalom to formal. I changed, and then I changed. If actually the biggest change that happens when you change board, if you go from one board to the other, you really have to also change the angles.
So in Formula you use a higher angle?
Yes, yeah, exactly. And if you have a board where the foot straps are far forward, you definitely want to have a lot of angle to get enough lift. If you have a board with extremely strap position where they're very far back, you don't need much lift, because you will push on the back of the board to get the board up in the air anyway.
And how high do you use the wishbone?
What's that?
The wishbone. How high?
The boom height.
Yeah.
Normally we keep it like a slalom.
Okay.
Slalom height, never up in the formal heights. So keep it low, and it's nice because it's easy for pumping. It's not too physical. It's nice to tack and everything becomes easy.
It's also easy for body pack.
In the foiling jibes, yeah, with the low boom, you have more load.
I think if we had the low boom, it's so easy in the jack when you open up, you have a control all the way open. If you have the high boom, you have no control.
And then you use the much shorter harness lines.
So, in the start I used the short shaft, the hand shaft, now I use a bit longer.
I guess it's different from people, but I use quite short lines.
What's the minimum wind speed for free setting and the minimum for competitive setting?
For competitors like us, it's like I think I get planing earlier than I do on the formula. So it's like a little bit earlier planing on the formula. Or I know I do that. I really get planing earlier. In the beginning, for beginners, it's like it's almost similar to formula. So in the beginning, it's a little bit harder to get planing, because you need to learn to activate the wings. Actually, you can activate the wings before you get planing, and this is where you get all the drive. So you don't just pump the sail, but you also pump with the foil, and then you get going. And in the beginning, of course, you don't have the feelings with the foil yet, so you don't know how to actually use this power it has. So I guess 10 knots, 8 to 10 knots in the beginning you can go, and when you get advanced, I don't know, 6 knots.
I got the competition, the European Championship, and at the women 7 knots, and they were sort of playing with 7, 8.
For full racing?
Yeah. Also for Chris, it was 94 kilo.
The scale time is usually 7-8%, but also for the bigger guys, it's no problem. It's the maximum you need.
For really, like I think for Christian, he could use an 8.6. If he has an additional wide board. On the two narrow boards, it doesn't really fit with the two big sails like slalom. But if you have a specific foil board and you're a heavy guy, you can probably get advantage using 8.6. For us, it's still 7.8.
I mean, like with the 12 meters, I think I played just as early on the 7.8. You can have the bigger 8.6, but you really will need it. Because as soon as you get power, the 7.8 is much better.
In Denmark, you have been racing parallel Formula and foiling in one feed.
Yes.
All together.
Yes.
Was it a problem security-wise or competitive-wise?
Actually, it was not. We were nervous it would be, but it wasn't. Because in the end, it's fun. It's very similar. And the best thing is actually that we can change direction immediately, much more than we can on the Formula. So we are more able to avoid collision than ever before. It's like go-karting. You just do like this. When you have control in the beginning, as a beginner, it's hard to change direction, but when you learn it, it's so easy. So getting it starts, and I think it's very easy to find a spot and then just get around people and then go the foil.
The only thing that is so much foil still makes sense. So in keeping them noticing, we have to be very careful. They can't hear you.
Yeah.
So like right behind one. But like necessarily you just need to be aware of that and then make them notice you. So sometimes we actually sail the board on the water and make sure that people know where we are.
Can you guys speak a little bit up?
What?
Can you speak up a little bit? So we can.
So sometimes when we do the starts, we actually on purpose put the board down on the water just to make sure that people know where we are. Because if you're foiling, sometimes you can't hear where people are. So we'll be aware of that out here as well.
Is it better to go upwind? Like that moment when the start is, are you down in the water or?
It's just for safety, yeah.
Okay.
The ideal thing would be fully foiling racing, only foiling, yeah. But we really do it also, we did slalom in Denmark and just put the board in the water. We can completely sail it like a board with a fin. We just put it down and everybody can, it's normal. So it's nothing special anymore. And then once the start is good and we're clear, we went up.
Also for better timing maybe?
No, I prefer to be on the foil. But it's no problem.
And which course is the best for foiling?
Which course?
Yes.
Any course.
Any.
Yes. I go with it, like whatever.
An 8 also?
The nice thing is that it's always the same setup. The only thing we change is the front wing. So, the 7.8 is, you can use it in 6 knots and then you can hold it for a long time, like an 11 meter on a Formula. If you're a good guy, you can hold it for 20 knots. The same as in foiling, so you can really do whatever you want.
Er hat dich missverstanden.
I think in high, sometimes in some conditions it changes a little bit. I'm not sure in all, but sometimes maybe 13, 14 knots. I think it's good.
Maybe when you get waves, you don't have to go that much. Keep it straight line.
Yeah.
When you have the wave, but also on Formula you go up and down. Heating just goes straight through it. You keep it more stable line.
Especially if you have shots that are close together, we just go over it. But here maybe you can use the waves of the Formula.
Especially in the only drives, you're gaining more meters leeward compared to Formula,
Yeah.
don't you?
Yeah, leeward, yeah.
So that's the main advantage?
Yeah.
Or is it just speed angle that's making the difference?
Maneuvers are the biggest advantage. Definitely.
Also with the text?
No, maybe not so much in the text, not so much, but a little bit.
Can you do foiling text yet?
No.
Is it possible?
I think you need to make a duck tech because once you put when you put the foot in the front of the front foot strap, you already go down. So if you want to move around, you should do a duck tech.
Do you always need foil board to be the fastest?
What's that?
Do you always need the foil board?
The foil board is definitely a good thing to have. Yeah. But you can take a formula board. It's also good. You can take a big slalom board. I think I would take a big formula board instead of a big slalom board.
So formula is possible.
Formula for foiling is good, yeah. No problem at all. It's a little bit. Yeah.
Why would you use a big formula board instead of a big slalom?
Because some slalom boards are a little bit too narrow on ideally, so you don't have enough leverage to put pressure on the wings. So you're pushing too far in instead of being out here where you have the power on the wings, and this is really where you gain the upwind performance. Not for reaching, but for upwind.
What is the plan in Denmark? Because this year we had a kind of transition period. Some people jumped on the foil trend already. Some people are probably also still existing the formulas.
Yeah, I don't know if we really think it's a transition. We just because we want to try and keep both things alive, and it's up to people themselves what they want to do, of course. But I think for next event we're probably gonna have 8 guys foiling, something like this, 8 or 9 guys out of 32.
And for next year they will make 3 classes. Formula class, foiling class, and then a slalom class. And then I don't know about the overall situation because it's pretty different.
But we're all gonna race together, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the same, but it's in terms of how you can make an overall result, if that's going to be a possibility, or you just have a slalom champion, you have a foil champion, you have a formula champion.
But now you are racing all together in one fleet.
Yeah. But we are unofficially winning, or we don't get crowned actually.
Okay.
So we're just there to practice.
Where do you see yourself in like 3 years?
Where I see myself?
Compared like, if you say windsurfing.
Surfing in Maui.
Yeah, maybe kitesurfing. I don't know. No, to be serious, I'm completely hooked with this. I don't get tired of it. It's quite unique because I've been foiling a lot, and it's more or less the only thing I do, except I was kitesurfing 2 times last week. And it doesn't get boring, so I think I can go do like this for many years.
Are you also foiling on a kiteboard?
I tried that one time, but I'm a beginner kiter, so the difference in kite foiling and wind foiling is kite foiling you get a lot of help from the kite because you're already getting lifted, and you're on a tiny board. It's like what's called these rolling things. You're like it's quite easy compared to wind foiling. On a windsurf foil, you need to lift all the equipment up, and there's different balance in the whole setup, so it's a more full feeling. I think it feels a bit better. Kite foiling.
You think the concept like this foil is staying alive, or are we going to see foils on one board? Or?
No, I think this concept is what we're gonna have for probably. You never know, but I doubt that we'll make the 2 foils. Because in the end, you really need to also think about drag. This is already, believe it or not, but it's already a lot of drag because if you compare it to a windsurf board, like a slalom board, the board barely touches the water and you only have this big of a little fin in it. So it's not a lot of drag in a slalom board compared to this. I know you don't have the surface of the board touching the water on a foil, but you still have a lot of things under the water. So you really want to keep this small. So it's hard, but I think it's all about keeping thin profiles and still maintaining the lift and stability.
What about the durability? Is this an issue that it's all breaking or okay?
No, it's super strong. Actually, also we had some really big crashes with this thing. One guy went in Lake Garda on the concrete the places where you walk in, completely spoiled into it, and it only had scratches. I have it at home, this board. And then Robert Stroy, the designer, I'm telling this live on video, he went on the reef in Maui, in Kanaka, and completely buried the fuselage underneath the reef and catapulted it. It only had scratches. We didn't break it.
Is the fuselage out of aluminium or?
No, the fuselage is carbon construction with a string, and the mast here is solid. This is.
But there's aluminium inside.
Here.
Okay.
Is the aluminium in the tail for the system to work. But here there's like a stringer construction. I don't know how. I didn't see it completely, but it's.
Okay.
Yes. So this is the more entry-level foil, which is first of all way cheaper. It's 1/3 of the price of this. How many euros? Just, I don't know, maybe 800 or something.
800 is 2,400.
Yes. So it's definitely a lot cheaper, and it's easier. The good thing about this is it's only 80 centimeters tall, so you don't, when you fall down, you don't fall almost 1 meter, which you do on this one. To fall down 1 meter is scary at the beginning, and it's way better. Even though it's 80 centimeters, it's only 20 or 15 centimeters difference. It's a lot nicer to fall down with this one. And then I think the foil is quite easy. You can really feel when you come up too high. You don't fall down immediately, but you can feel that, okay, now you have to go down again before you actually fall down. So it's a easy foil, easy to maneuver around, easy to angle the board how you want to have it. Whereas this one is a bit more locked, a little bit more hard to influence what you want to do with it. But it's very stable at the same time. So.
Is it a problem with the short foil with extremely light blast?
This one? No, it's no problem. Not at all. It's not really soft. It's actually quite stiff. So, but I know what you mean, that you get a lot of leverage from a formula board. And the only thing I think is the problem is the fin box of a formula board, because you have so much power on the formula board that you can actually twist the box. Break it.
And do you make the foot straps more open?
No, not really. Actually, it's nice to keep the straps tight, so you can really feel the board. If they get too big, it's a bit sketchy. So keep them tight. Also in the beginning, I know it's dangerous that you get stuck in them, but I'd rather want to stay stuck in the straps than not being able to steer the board.
And the mast foot, where do we put it?
Mast foot, yeah, that's a good question. But I can tell you what it does. When you move it forward, you get rid of some lift. You lose lift, let's say you lose it. So the nose wants to go down and you want to lean back to keep it up. But what it also does, it makes it easier to hold the rail down. So you lose lift, but you become able to lean the rail down so you get more power. When you move it back, you get more lift, but also the board will ride more flat. So it's a win and lose situation.
Okay.
But actually the whole setup, how you set up everything, it's super easy to feel it. Even though you're not good, you can really feel where is the balance. If I need lift, if I feel like I'm leaning back all the time and I just cannot get the board out of the water, okay, move the track back to get lift. Or you can change the tailwind, make more negative angle, and you get the lift. Yeah, so on the yellow foil, there is a little bit more simple option. It is just that you unscrew the tailwind and you add a washer in between the tailwind and underneath the fuselage, and that's gonna add angle to the tail. It's quite simple. And believe it or not, one washer, which is, I don't know how many millimeters, but 3 millimeters, it's a huge difference. You get way more lift. So it's a good way of trimming. You can also do it the opposite way, that you put it on the tail, on the back screw, but then you get less lift. And normally nobody uses this.
What about the secret?
Yeah, can you explain?
When I did the secret, I feel it a lot better on the foil because when I got the drag, you still have the same speed. But when you hit the wings, you have a little bit the same feeling like a formula or a slalom. You don't get the lift from the foil because you have the
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So well, we tried some races with Sylt actually, and with the formula water, you get stuck on the water completely. And here you still have the lift because if you get weak here, it's not in a position where the foil creates lift. It's just a matter of when you get a bit more drag, but it's not much, so you still have lift. Of course, if you get seaweed around the wings, this is not good, but I never had it. You need to really unlock it.
So you're obviously one of the best riders here, and you have strong learning curves, so you went quite fast. But if you have weaker riders, how is it for them, the transition from Formula or slalom to foiling?
Yeah, actually it took me some time to learn it, because I started out with this kind of foil, but with a small wing setup, and it was like a rodeo, and it was not easy in the beginning. And then these guys, they learned it in like 2 sessions, but really learned it, so they were foiling properly. Simon, Peter, me, and also Christian. So, and
on the yellow foil, it's much easier to do than that. You get a lot of people on the yellow foil, and they go off the first time, and they're foiling well. But definitely it depends if you have a good foil or not.
I'm gonna try this in Denmark for the next race, and I think I will be able to do like a top 5 maybe. Very good.
Can you compare it already with GPS? Faster, how much faster you are with the
I know Antoine does this a lot, but I never did it. I'm not a GPS guy. Last time I used GPS was in Lake Garda last year, and I had a lot of crashes because I was trying to push. So I didn't do it since then.
Most of us see it, I think, as an alternative to Formula racing. But you are also seeing it in slalom, correct?
Yes, not because it's faster, because it's actually slower, but it's just because it's fun. And for me, I want to learn as much as I can, so I decided to do it, only for you, so I can really get to learn most of the song. But yeah, we're not fast like a snowboard, not yet. Maybe in 2 years.
Yes, sir. So, what is the main development you're working on for it now? The wings or the mast height?
They're working with everything actually. I'm not sure how much it's gonna change, but we're trying everything all the time. And what is actually important is that you create the right combination, so everything has to fit together. So how you build the foil actually also changes which kind of outline you want to have on the board.
But if I buy now a setup for foiling, I will use it for the next 2 years. Do you think there's much difference, or
I don't want to say anything, because if something it's still somebody can find out something and it's way faster. Like we've seen with the change from triple shifting to carbon transport, like something all of suddenly something comes out of it. But right now I don't see that it's gonna be